Welcome to Timber&Terra. I am Glenn, and we are back out here in this little section of road where I added about 40 to 50 yards of rock from here to over there. It's rained since we were here last, so there's all kinds of puddles. But what I knew was going to be an issue is what I'm here to fix today is draining this. Before I put these rocks here, there might have been a little standing water here, but for the most part it drained over that way. So even though this is a bunch of rocks, there's enough mud and clay between them where it's acting as a really watertight dam. So I have my pipe. This is a 6-inch SDR 35. It's not a lot of flow, so I don't really need a large culvert. I really just need something to drain what, even during a rainstorm, it's really a small amount of water. But it does collect if it doesn't drain. So I'm going to do my best. I do have my my smooth face tip or teeth on there, that homemade thing. Do my best to try to dig out these rocks to make a trench across basically right here where we're standing. Put that in, and I'm not going to put the rocks back over top because that might crush it. I'll bring in some clay that I have. That probably looks like a lot of flow, and it is, but that had accumulated from a couple rainstorms since I put this dam / road in. So I'll let this drain out, take out the big rocks that are in the way, and I don't know if I'm going to need just a 10-footer. Probably I'll need maybe 15 feet, so 1.5 of those lengths. But I'll figure that out when I can get in there without getting my boots any wetter than they already are. So I ended up gluing these together. For this application, I probably didn't have to glue the joint, but I did PVC cement. I cut about 3 feet off, so this is 17 feet. I know, and I put 8-inch culverts in another road that we'll go to in a second over there, because I have another project to do like this. Some people commented that, oh, those 8-inch culverts are going to plug up with leaves and debris. I'll show you those. They haven't yet. It's been, I guess it'll be 2 years this fall that I put that in. And like I said, we've had some significant rain and it's not plugged up yet. This is only 6-inch and it very well could plug up. But like any sort of roads or drainage, it needs maintenance. There's nothing that's completely trouble-free. I come up here pretty often, so if something does plug it up, it's easy to unplug. The worst case is, if it does plug up, water runs sort of over the road here. I don't think the road's going to go anywhere with the rock base that it has. So I'm going to let this drain. Like I said, I'm not going to put that material back in, at least until I cover it with some good clay. But I need this machine to load that clay. So I have another project a couple hundred feet that away that we'll go to next. So here we are in another loop road. I made a video 2 years ago of making this road. I think it's just called like a road in the woods. There's also a playlist. So there's the main road there. We came in there and we're just up there. The pond is over there. For those that are familiar with my videos, a lot of this we have to cross a ford to get through where the pond drains into a brook. So there's 2 issues here. One is right where the excavator is. I have a culvert here. This is an 8-inch culvert. And it had some debris in it a bit ago and I took out, but for the most part it's clear. It drains out here. And this one gets a fair amount of flow when it rains. But the issue is I do have drainage there, but there's also drainage that comes down here on the other side of this tree and a root ball, and there might be a rock underneath there, and it puddles there. And since it can't get by that tree and go into the culvert, it goes over my road and washes that out, washes out the clay top and the gravel underneath that I put down. So this is a clay layer that I put down, and for the most part it works really well. You can see the excavator doesn't really make much of an impression. Here it does, so this is probably a bit wetter. So the first thing I'll do is dig a ditch from where the excavator blade is here, take that tree down. I hope I can do that with my smooth face bucket on without having to put my teeth back on. I should be able to do that. To drain that into this culvert. The other section of problem area I have is down this way. And now we're going downhill, so I can't force the water to go into that culvert because that would try to make water go uphill. So there's no need to take these this large red maple, this small red maple down. But what happens is water runs again off the hill, and you can see it here. It's actually washed out some of my clay and exposed the road fabric I had underneath. So this one is not quite as easy to fix, but I do have a plan. You can see here when it rains, it runs down the road. And this is generally just during a heavy rain. A light rain is not going to cause water to come down here. It washes out here. You can see the exposed rock and aggregate. It goes into, that's where we were, goes into my main road, and you can see the washout there with the exposed rock. So my thought here is, again, as long as I don't run into ledge, is dig a ditch on the right hand side of the road down here through the ferns, stop it right about here, and then put a couple sections of that SDR 35 6-inch pipe across here. I don't want to use a culvert. One is this is cheaper. These are like $60 a piece. Culvert would probably be a couple hundred. And I don't want to dig any deeper than I absolutely have to because I don't want to disturb roots. I have decent trees around here and I just don't want to dig deeper than I have to. And I'm not sure that I can dig deep because I know there's shallow ledge around here. So let's start here where the excavator is, take down this tree and make that ditch. So that should be good for this one. It should all go downhill. The only issue I had was there is some ledge here. It does break up a little bit, but it is be hard on my machine to do anything. But this is well below the road level. Even though it may cause a little bit of that to puddle, it's still going to run off that way. All right, let's do the next section, which is a little bit bigger. So I took that bit of material here and put it here because I think there might have been some water that was coming between these two trees. So I just wanted to sort of dam it up and then force it to go that way or that way. Either way, that would go to the culvert and then this would go into the ditch that I'm... I'm not sure how much of that you saw because the battery died at some point. So the culvert's in. I only have my phone. I should have brought a 2-foot level, but I didn't. But my phone shows about a 2-degree slope in the correct direction. On the outlet end, when have the filled back in and the excavator over here, I'll probably just scrape off a little bit of this to make sure that it has a clear path down there. It's a natural swale, so I'll use that. I did damage some of the roots from that yellow birch. Hopefully it'll still survive, but here's what it is. Well, I should do it. Ditch there's probably 4, maybe 6 inches at least deeper than the road is. So I spread this out. There's a lot of brush and stuff too that's underneath that dirt. I did keep this area clear because I think this is where most of the runoff comes in. And then again from over here, hopefully on this side of these trees. My little makeshift dam. And this here, it's, I don't know, looking at it again, I'm not sure if that little hump is going to cause a problem, because that does look a little bit higher than over there. I guess it just depends on whether that is lower than that over there. Worst case scenario is I just have to build up the road a little bit to make sure that that ditch is lower than that, that ledge over there. I'll show you one other 8-inch culvert that gets a lot of flow. There's one more over there that doesn't get much flow at all, but this one runs most of the time we have much rain at all. There is a little bit of silt in there, but it actually flows enough where once it gets past that bell, it sort of washes itself out. And you can see here there's, you know, evidence of a fair amount of flow with all this silt. So far I haven't had any issues at all. I've not had to clear out any of these 8-inch culverts. We'll see what happens with the 6-inch. It may have problems, it may not. There it is. So the only other thing we have left to do now is to fill that other pipe. That may or may not happen today. I need to walk the excavator back, but on the way back I have another job for it, which is just cleaning up some topsoil. I'm not going to film that before I go back to where I'm going to load the clay up into my trailer and bring it out here. So we're done with the excavator in the woods for now. So it is the next day, and this looks like topsoil, sod, and grass. It is grass, but it's still clay. It was in an area where I had moved some clay for a pump track for my grandkids, which they really didn't use much, so now I'm taking it up. But while it was sitting there, it did grow some grass, so any topsoil looking material, it might just be a little bit of stray stuff from the adjacent area that got mixed in, or just the roots from the grass that grew. So rather than take my trailer, which I'd have to load lightly because I'd have to back up this hill, I just decided to take a couple bucket loads to cover the pipe. Then I'll, since the tractor doesn't have a trailer, it'll be easier to try to move these rocks back in over this as well, and then maybe push some that way, depending on how much I have left over. And then we'll trailer a larger quantity of this clay. So it's covered for the most part. I think I will take the shovel and move some of that. Cover this. This is obviously not covered. But other than that, it's ready to be filled in. We'll see how the tractor bucket goes with trying to push these rocks around. I think it'll be a challenge. I probably didn't need to add that extra, or as much. I probably could have cut that another couple feet short. We haven't crushed the pipe anyhow. But yeah, this looks pretty bad. Nasty. Plus it's very difficult to try to move these things with a bucket of a mid-sized tractor. Okay, well that's gonna have to do it. I'll bring a load of clay and we'll sort of fill in this mess. I'm gonna have to use the dozer, I think, to spread this out, but the dozer's sort of back at the house. So there's some stuff I want to do with that before I bring it back out here. You can see all kinds of grass. I want to show you where this pump track was, or where I'm getting this material, where you could swear it was just loam and topsoil with all the green, but it's really just a lot of clay that the grass has grown up on top of. So this is the area I've been taking that clay from. So here you can see the brown compared to this gray was sort of the original grass, and here's more of the clay. So here's the gray clay, which is the track. The track went around there, went between those birch and this fir, sort of just did a big oval. And a pump track is really just sort of a mini motocross track. It has, you know, bumps and curves, and had a couple of bridges, but this is really what the sort of the clay you'd think would look like. But you can see all kinds of greeneries growing up around it. Not on purpose, it ended up being a little pond in the middle. I can't remember how many trailer loads I put here, and right here it washed out, so that's why the little pond is small now. It sort of washed out there and then eventually into my lawn. But here you can see more traditional clay where you really wouldn't expect it to grow much. And I'm not sure why it did. I'm guessing probably just seeds blew on it and there was enough nutrients in the clay, because this clay was sort of deep down. It wasn't just subsurface. So I know the clay did not, you know, have any plants or roots or seeds in it when I brought it over here. And yeah, so we just sort of walked around. It was pretty small. I mean, it was just young grandkids, like, you know, 6, 8, 10 years old sort of thing. So this is upside down, but it had a rubber bridge, you know, a little wooden bridge. But they used it for a little bit, and then it either became old or they outgrew it or whatever. So just back to the original, you know, sort of the flat surface. sort of marks the end. I may bring some more in, level up some low areas, but boy, it's a lot more passable now. It is still very soupy, very muddy. I'm guessing that will dry. I know it'll dry out because that's what it's done in the past when I've done this sort of thing. I'm not sure about these, this little pool here. I'll just let it be. It may be that I just leave it. It could be that I do the same thing here as I did over there, because I have quite a fall there. I do have ledge, so this is not nearly as deep as over there. But we'll see. That'll be a project for another time. So, yeah, still muddy. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for this. I've got the two drainage issues taken care of that I wanted to. In fact, that other one on the other side was one that I've been sort of eyeballing for a couple of years now. I'm glad I finally took care of that, and it wasn't really even that difficult. So thanks for watching this one. I hope you stay tuned for others.